Okay guys, hope you're good. So I thought I'd make this video here. It's actually quite an important topic really. It's all about the relationship between overeating and stress. So there is scientific data really all about this topic, which just says really, hormonally, once we're stressed, our response to appetite is increased because ghrelin, which is the hormone that drives hunger, is increased. But even on a more simple level, a lot of the time people are exposed sometimes almost unwittingly to stress. They don't even realize they're stressed. So I've actually got a device here which physically measures stress. And I now kind of having an awareness because I try to control my food intake quite a lot, particularly when I know that I'm stressed. So, and something that I've always had like a bit of over time been becoming more self-aware really, about like kind of stress and things that trigger stress, and like really if I'm stressed and then suddenly my impulse is to go and reach for something and eat something, my first question to myself is, are you really genuinely hungry, or is this potentially a physiological response to stress? Or sometimes is it an escape you're trying to use for stress? So what I would challenge you today is just to think about that before you go down the unhealthy rabbit hole of eating as a coping mechanism for stress. So there are some alternatives really, and you may say these are unhealthy, but first of all, what I would say, if you really feel like on a physical level that you are potentially hungry but it's stress, right? Because for example, you've just eaten recently. See, on a physical level, it doesn't make sense for you to be hungry. So why would you be? You've just eaten dinner like an hour ago, half an hour ago. What I'd say is, first of all, focus on hydration. Get a tasty, sugar-free, calorie-free drink. Why? Because you're still going to get that kind of soothing, food-related, oral, fix, but without the damage of the additional calories that you don't really need. Sometimes there's a dehydration component there as well, okay? The next thing we can do is try and take some steps to manage our response to stress. So being aware of stress is good. So things like an app that can measure it on like one of these smartwatches is this is the Samsung smartwatch. Very, very useful thing, because then you can identify, yes, on a physical level, my body is telling me I'm actually stressed, right? So that's the first thing. Secondly, you got to like put some boundaries up. So like really, if there is something you can do about the stress, by all means try and get a bit of an escape. If you've got people phoning you constantly, turn the phone off for a little while if that's possible. Put your phone on to do not disturb. But really the most important thing to do is really, as I think a lot of the problem people have, apart from just not tracking food, which is part of it, is excessive, long-term, non-stop, continuous exposure to stress. Like, I don't even work in a particularly busy environment, but the phone rings on a kind of almost non-stop basis. Expected to answer every single phone call that comes in, serve every single customer that comes in. So I mean, that's just a typical bit of life there. So loud sounds, listen, that's beeping like crazy. The list to do of stuff is endless. So therefore, and it doesn't just stop when you're at work, it continues when you go home. And then a lot of people are skipping workouts because they say they've got a busy schedule. You guys, you got to take care of your body. So you got to remember, exercise is stress on the body, but it's also a way of eliminating some of that mental stress. And also it's a good stress, so it'll bring you down again. But I think the first step is really just being aware before you go to eat. Is it stress related? Are you genuinely hungry? Because the first physical sign of being hungry is your stomach rumbling. If the stomach's not rumbling, the chances are it's not physical hunger. It could be some other factor there, okay? So just something to think about before you eat, The next thing is track your food. So if you do fall off track and you eat more, at least track it so you can dial it back later. All right, hope that helps, guys. See you soon.